Today we're going to get started with a seated position, cross-legged if that's comfortable, so you can have a little pillow that you can sit on. Just make sure that you're comfortable. It can be either this or you can sit on your knees. We're not going to be here for too long, but once you kind of settle in, I want you to just take a moment to close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths, especially into the upper part of your ribs. Just feel how the undulation of your chest as you inhale lifts you up, and then exhale releases. So you can exaggerate this a little bit, and as you inhale, lifting the heart, and as you exhale, releasing, softening. So a couple of more times like that. One more time, inhale. And exhale. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to reverse the pattern. So instead of breathing into your upper body and lifting up, we're going to breathe into the back body. So as I inhale, I'm going to exaggerate in the back part of my ribs. And exhale, soften back to neutral. Inhaling, spreading the shoulder blades, and exhale. And a couple of more times like that. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Good. From here, bring your right hand to your, I guess I'll mirror you. Bring your right hand to your left ribs. And you're just kind of holding the ribs very gently just to have a connection with this side of the body. And then from here, I want you to begin to lift your free arm. And just feel how as you lift the arm, there's a response from the side of the ribs, the shoulder blade is sliding up. And just help with your hand, kind of feeling that you can reach a little bit taller. So there's a bit of extra support on the side there. Keep breathing here, keep reaching, and then exhale, release. We're going to do that same thing on the same side. So once again, start out feeling the softness and suppleness of the muscles on the side. And then as you inhale, begin to lift the arm. And as you lift, feel how the side begins to expand and stretch through the arm. You can look up, breathing into that side, the whole side body yawning. And then exhale, release. Come back to center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to bring my opposite hand to the ribs. So first, just kind of giving yourself a little squeeze there, feeling what it's like. Hi, Marina. Hi, Peter. Welcome. We're just getting started. So join in. So just starting on a seated position here. And then from here, as I'm giving myself that little tactile feedback, I'm going to reach the arm up. Oh, and then I reach and I begin to feel the whole side stretching and yawning. I'm kind of helping with my hand, just encouraging all of that connective tissue to lengthen through the arm. You can see I'm kind of starting to bend a little bit to the side. And then release. Good. And we're going to do that one more time on this side. So once again, I start from this softness, feeling that soft tissue on my side ribs. And then I begin to reach the arm. And as I reach, I begin to feel this connection to my side body, bringing all of that participation from those muscles on the side. Couple of breaths into your hand. So as you have your hand there, see if you can feel your ribs expand into the hand. Good. And then release. Good. Now we're going to do both arms at the same time. Unfortunately, we don't have another arm to feel the ribs. So I want you to imagine yourself feeling the ribs with your hands. Maybe just for a moment, bring both hands to your ribs and just kind of feel these muscles on the side, all of this support here that we're going to use for our shoulder work today. And then from here, beginning to lift the arms and see if you can feel at which point you begin to utilize the sides of your ribs, reaching through the arms. Take some deep breaths here. And then release. Now we're going to do it a couple of more times. I'm going to point out a couple of alignment things from different angles. Number one, let's make sure you don't reach out your arms straight to the side when you reach. This is beyond the healthy range of motion in the shoulder joint. So anytime you're reaching the arms, have them so they're slightly angled forward, like you can see them in your peripheral vision, as if you're holding a big orb in front of you. So as you're beginning to reach up, you're tracing this kind of orb in front of you as you reach, and then the arms begin to kind of turn. This is external rotation here when you're turning them this way. Thumbs are pointing in and back. And then we're reaching through the side body. So really feeling the engagement from the side, feeling the lengthening from the back body. Couple more breaths. And then release. Good. And last time. Now from the back, I want you to see, hopefully you can see my shoulder blades clearly. So as we reach, I want you to imagine that you're really initiating your motion from the center of your spine, utilizing the trapezius muscle, the rhomboids, all these big muscles back here to help you lift the arms. So as if you have wings here. So imagine yourself connected to this spot here, and then begin to lift the arms, lifting them from the back body, reaching them up. And breathing, breathing, seeing if you can get a little bit taller, reach from the back. And then release. Nice. So once we have these details ironed out, so you can keep coming back to them, I'm going to keep reminding you of this. So let's just do a little bit of side stretching before we move on. So now I'm just going to start with my right arm. I'm going to lift my right arm out, and I'm going to reach it to the side, as if I'm trying to reach something, grab something from the side. And then from my side ribs, reaching up and over. So it's as if you're diving over something. It's not just your shoulder. Your whole spine is participating. And then from here, turn towards the floor. And then rolling down, coming back to your neutral. So it's kind of like we're sweeping to the side, over, and then turning. So it's a nice circular momentum. From here, left side, reaching over. So first, I'm just reaching through my whole body, and then up and over, diving over. Nice stretch to that side. Keep the arms so it's a little bit in front of your head, not quite behind you. So you're not straining the shoulder joint. Good. And then turning towards the floor and unwinding. We're going to do that one more time. Reaching over to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. And up. And over. I think I did that backwards. And reaching to the opposite side. And up. And over. So let's do it the other way that I did it. So we're going to reach with the right arm to the side first. And then up. And over. I'm feeling some things popping in my back. I don't know if you are. And then down. And then left arm reaching up and over. And stretch over. And release. Good, very nice. From here, let's come off our support, and we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So on your hands and knees now, we're going to really feel the mobility in the shoulder blades and the shoulder joints. So as we begin here, I want you to relax your spine between your shoulders and let the shoulders kind of release. So you're sinking in between them. So your spine is kind of suspended between your shoulder blades. You can release your head, circle it around. Good. You notice my spine is more in a cow pose position, but I'm not thinking about my spine arching. Rather, I'm just thinking about releasing between my shoulders. And then begin to press out of the ground and pushing yourself off from your arms and spreading your shoulder blade. And now feeling that cat pose, breathing between the shoulder blades. And releasing. So now moving a little bit faster, just on the breath at your own pace, seeing if you can feel your shoulder blades are drawing in towards each other and they're pulling apart. And drawing in and pulling apart. Drawing in and pulling apart. Good. Release back for a moment into child's pose, stretching through the arms. You can shift your weight side to side. That might feel good in your lower back. Good. And then coming forward once again into our tabletop pose, connecting to the same motion, but one at a time. So I'm going to sink into my left shoulder, and then I'm going to sink into my right shoulder. And then I'm going to just pass my weight back and forth between my arms. So I'm going to show it from this angle here. So an image that I like to have when I'm doing this movement is, imagine a leopard of some sort of large cat when they're walking, and how they're absorbing weight into their shoulders. So I want you to imagine that you're a nice big cat. I'm into cats. I don't know if you knew this about me. And so every time that you release the weight into the arm, you feel the give of the shoulder joint and the shoulder muscles. And you can kind of feel there's a circularity here that is introduced into the joints. It feels really nice. Good. Now from here, we're going to rest our weight on the right side. So now you can see I'm really sinking right now into my right shoulder. And then I'm going to pull out of it. I'm going to really push out and create some strength. And I'm going to yield into the floor. And then I'm going to push out. Keep softening. Everything softens on the way down. So here my elbow is soft as well. And then I push out. Good. And one more time, I'm going to sink and yield, and then I'm going to push out, this time reaching my left arm up to the ceiling. Good. Really focus on the strength of the shoulder of your right arm, reaching through your left arm. And then exhale, release. Shake it out. You can come back to child's pose if that gets too intense to be on one arm for that long. And then we're going to come to the left side. So now I'm looking for that same grounding in my left. And I'm going to practice just releasing the weight, yielding my weight into the left arm, and then pressing out. Let's show it from this side. So once again, I release the weight, I soften everything, elbow softens, wrist soft, and then I press out. And release, and press out. Good, one more time. I release, and then I'm pressing, and I'm gonna reach with that right arm. And instead of focusing on your right arm, really feel the reach out of the left arm, sending the energy into the right arm. Remember the right arm, you can still see it. It's not behind you. It's slightly to the front. Good, and then release. Good, come back to child's pose. Stretch your arms. Breathe into your back body. You can shift your weight side to side. Good, and then coming forward into tabletop. We're going to tuck the toes under, and then from here, gently just bring your knees off the ground a couple of inches, just a tiny bit. They're hovering above the ground. We're targeting our core here, warming up. Breathe here. Feel the support of your shoulders here. And then pressing back slowly into downward facing dog. Now in down dog, keep your knees soft for this first one. And really aim to bring your ribs towards your thighs, really lengthening from your spine, untucking the tail. Like I'm really trying to reach my tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then from here, you can begin to play with straightening the legs one at a time, walking it out a little bit. Take it slow, breathe deeply. Good. Now in downward facing dog, same thing. We're going to explore this mobility in the shoulders. I'm going to show it from the this angle here so you can see. So in downward facing dog, I'm going to keep my knees soft for this. I'm going to once again yield my weight into the shoulders, soften the elbows like I'm yielding into the ground. You feel your triceps fire quite a bit when you do this. And then press out of the ground. Really send the energy back. This is very nice for warming up the shoulder joints here. Once again, kind of soften and release, sliding down a little bit. Maybe you do a little bit of a bounce here. And then pressing out, reaching back through your pelvis. Let's do that a couple more times. Softening, yielding. Shake your head, yes, shake it, no, release any tension, and then press back. Good, charging through the arms, triceps helping you, and one more time, release. And then reach back. Good, take a breath here. Oh, and then on your next inhale, we're gonna come forward into plank pose. Now, in plank pose here, we're going to explore that same idea, but if it's too much for you to be in this full plank, you can bring your knees to the floor and just have yourself in half plank, meaning you're just at an angle here. Make sure you're not just here. You're in one line from shoulder to knees. So from here, we're going to press away from the floor, spread the shoulder blades apart, and then yield into the shoulder blades. And just feel how those muscles mobilize your whole body. So let's do a couple of more here. You can tell I'm shaking a little bit. This is nice. Nice to warm up the body like that. One more time. Good. And then downward facing dog. Now you can really work on stretching the legs and getting some more length in your hamstrings. Good, and then from here, let's come forward into plank pose, and this time we'll just release all the way to the floor. Good. Allow the arms to stretch out to the side. You can turn your head to one side or the other. Take a moment to breathe here. Oh, especially between your shoulder blades. Good. Now, let's go ahead and reach the arms out, and at the same time, we're going to lift the upper chest. Now, I want to be mindful that I slightly tuck my tailbone to support the lift, so I'm not just relying on my back muscles here. I'm getting some support from the core. And so I keep reaching my arms out to the side as I'm lifting. So a lot of width, a lot of space between my shoulder blades here, between my two shoulders. From here, I'm just going to gently turn my head to the right as if I'm trying to look behind me. And what I'm looking for is a nice lengthening stretch to the side of the neck. Good, and then come back to center, and then other side. I'm looking to the side, and then I'm trying to look behind me a little bit. And there's a little bit of a twist going on in the upper thoracic and cervical spine. Come up one more time, reaching. You can let the shoulder blade of the opposite arm kind of turn in a little bit. And center, and one more time on the other side. And reach. Good, and center. Release the arms, bring them by your sides, and we're gonna press back into child's pose for a moment. Good, and then coming back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's bring the right leg up towards the ceiling. So you might need to bend your standing leg a little bit if you want to gain a little bit more height. Let's actually do that. Let's bend the standing leg a little bit and see if you can bring that right leg a little bit higher. And then see if you can re-straighten the left leg. You're gonna feel a little extra stretch there. Now, as you exhale, bring that right foot forward between the hands. Bring your left knee to the floor. And then we're gonna come into a lunge. That doesn't have to be a very deep lunge. First, let's find an appropriate stretch for you. So we start at 90 degrees. And what I'm gonna aim for is to get my psoas stretch. The psoas gets pretty tight these days, especially if you sit a lot. So what we're gonna do is tuck the tail here first. So I'm really looking for a 90-degree angle in my knee. And then as my tail is tucked, so you might even have your hands on your pelvis, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna begin to come forward, but keep my pelvis the same alignment. So I'm not gonna let the bowl tip. So go ahead and come forward. You're gonna start feeling a really juicy stretch here, hopefully. I feel it quite a bit. So it depends on your body. So go as far as is necessary for you. And then your hands can come to your knee here. Let's engage the breath and really feel how the breath will help to open up some of these muscles here. Good. And then my left arm is going to reach from the side body the way we did at the beginning. I want to feel my whole side stretching. And then I'm going to reach into a slight arc. This right hand can come to the floor. If you can reach it there, that's great, or you can keep it on your knee, whichever you prefer. And so I'm reaching from my left knee through my left side and through my left fingertips. Breathe for 3, and 2, and 1. Release. Soften. Let's take it back into the back knee. I'm going to straighten my front leg. Keep your foot pointed for a moment here. We're going to flex it in a minute, but this is a nice stretch sometimes for your the muscles of your shin. So from here, I'm going to do a few repetitions of just coming forward and back. Just forward and back. And looking for that little bit of a recoil energy between my Achilles tendon in the front and the muscles of my back leg. So just feeling more dynamic. Good. And then come back so you're on the back knee. And now we're going to go ahead and flex the right leg and find a nice stretch in your hamstrings. Once again, you can have something under your hands, blocks if you need, for a little bit of height. You don't have to straighten this leg all the way. If it's bent, just work on untucking your tail, okay? That's really where the stretch is gonna come into the hamstring. It's not about straightening this leg, it's about untucking the tail and lengthening the underside of your leg from that. So wherever you are, you can stay there. If you want a little bit deeper, you can reach your hands forward and walk forward, reaching the head towards your shin. And breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Come forward. We're going to tuck the back toes and gently work our way back into downward facing dog. Adjust in downward facing dog. Walk it out a little bit. Breathe. Reconnect with that imagery of your arms reaching from the center of your back, reaching through the sides, through your ribs, through the outer sides of the arms and into your pinkies even. From there, we're going to reach the left leg up behind us and bending your standing leg a little bit. Your right heel can be off the ground. Let's see if that left leg can go a little higher. And then stretch the right leg to straight. Woo! Breathe into that stretch. And then exhale, step that left foot forward between the hands. Now, once again, we're going to come into first just a 90-degree angle in the legs. Let me show it from this side. So first, I start here, and then bring my hands to my pelvis just as a reminder. I'm going to tuck the pelvis a little bit. And already in this position, I'm going to start feeling a little bit of a stretch there. And then I begin to come forward. So I'm looking for what is appropriate for my body today. And it will be different on this side. So it'll be interesting for you to be aware and notice, does this side feel tighter than the other one or looser? So I find my degree of stretch. I bring my hands to my knee. And then from there, we're going to reach through the right arm. So I want you to really feel the energy of reaching from the leg into your back, center of your back, and then through the side as you reach the arm. Ooh, a nice long stretch to the side. And then there's a little bit of a curve here. I'm reaching up and over, stretching, as if I'm trying to grab something more behind me with my hand. The left hand can come to the floor if that's available. And breathe here for 3, and 2, and 1. And release the hand to the floor. Come back into that back knee and stretch your front leg however long it's going to be. And then we're going to do a few repetitions of just coming forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. A couple more times. Good. And then staying here, flexing your front foot. Adjust the angle of the knee. So if you're trying to decide between straightening the leg and your back going like this, I'd rather you just bend the knee and loosen up your back, make it more neutral, and untuck the pelvis and really reach your sit bones up towards the ceiling. That will make the stretch much more accessible. So breathing here, wherever you are in your body, full breaths, that's the priority. Anytime your breath starts getting shorter, adjust the pose so that you can come back to deeper breath. If you want to go a little bit longer, you can reach through the arms, reach your head for your shin, and breathe here for 3, 2, and 1. Coming forward, plant your hands and step it back into downward facing dog. Spend a little bit of time in down dog. You can also go down to child's pose if you need. Good. Coming forward into plank pose. Once again, you have the option of going down with your knees to the floor or staying plank. We're going to do a few of these pushing away from the ground, shoulder blades apart, and shoulder blades in towards each other. And apart, and in. Couple more times, apart and in and apart and in. Release the knees, release your chest to the floor. From here, we're going to reach the arms behind you and see if you can interlace your fingers. If you can't, you might just kind of grab, if you have a strap available, that's helpful, or a shirt or something to grab onto. So from here, I'm going to reach the arms back, reaching the arms back and lifting the chest. Good. Breathing here. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Rest your arms, rest your head to one side or the other. We're going to do it one more time with the opposite cross of your fingers, with the opposite thumb on top. As you're ready, begin to lift the chest, reach the arms behind you, interlace the fingers with the opposite thumb on top, and reach back. Good. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Release. Rest for a moment. Good. Now, we're going to do a stretch in this position for the shoulders. So I'm going to turn so that you can see me. So the first variation of this stretch is going to be, I'm going to start with my right arm, which is a little bit tighter than my left. So I'm going to take my elbow and I'm going to reach it across. So as a diagonal, like I'm reaching kind of not straight to the side, but a little bit of diagonal. So I'm reaching here. I'm going to fold my hand on top, and I'm going to bring my head to rest on my wrist. So as I do this, I already feel a stretch on the side of my arm here. So you can play with that angle and see if you want a little bit more stretch, you can put a little bit more weight into it. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of find the perfect alignment for this. And then if you want to feel a little bit more, you can reach this arm more behind you and let that left shoulder drop. And that creates a little bit extra weight. We'll do another couple of breaths here. Good. And then lift your head off the arm. And this time you're going to bring your hand, you're going to reach it for your left shoulder blade. So on this one, for me, I feel a lot of stretching on the outer side of my arm. So I can't go very deep into the stretch. So you see where you need to be. You can also play with the angle of the elbow where there needs to be a little bit more forward or a little bit more close to you. So you can play around with it. The amount of weight that you put into it is, again, depending on your flexibility. You can go side to side. Just breathe into that stretch. Good. And then release. We're going to do the other side. Whew, that was a lot. From here, left side. So left arm, I'm going to reach the elbow at a diagonal. And I'm looking for that stretch on the outside of the arm. So I'm going to put my head on top of the wrist and just gently apply pressure. It's a little bit easier for me on this side. Notice for yourself whether this side is tighter or looser. And then optional here, you can reach that right arm behind you. Just let the right shoulder drop, adding a little bit more weight. Let's breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Good. And coming out of this, we're going to bring the left hand, reach it for the right shoulder blade. And again, I'm really feeling it on the outer and underside of my arm. So I kind of look for the appropriate stretch and just breathe into it. You can keep that right arm more behind you, applying more weight, or you can keep it to the front. Breathing here. Do 3 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Release out of the stretch. Take a moment to just rest your arms. You can reach them behind you. Let them relax. And then bringing your palms by your sides, pressing back. Take your time back to downward facing dog. Some nice breaths in down dog. Moving through the shoulder blades. Remember that idea of a wild cat walking. So feeling those shoulder blades articulating, supporting you. And then let's reach the right leg up behind you. And then bring the right foot forward between the hands. Release the back knee to the floor. And we're going to do a side stretch here. So I'm going to turn towards you so you can see it. So I am basically 90-degree angle with my knees. So I'm not in a very deep lunge. I'm going to bring my left hand out to the side a little bit more. Instead of in the front, it's going to be out to the side. And I'm going to swing my right arm up and over. And I'm really looking to stretch the right hip crease, right side of my waist, away from my arm. Now remember, the arm is still slightly in front of you. Don't reach it behind you. So you can even lean into it a little bit more. Breathe here. 3, 2, and 1. Release. We'll go back to down dog. Reach the left leg behind you. And exhale, come through with the left leg. Right knee to the floor. Once again, I first just come up and adjust my stance. I want a lot of width here. So I'm going to bring my right hand out more to the side and then reach my left arm up and over. Really stretch the left side away from my fingertips. Breathe here. The arm is slightly in the front of you. Good, and release. Wonderful, let's go back to down dog. From down dog, look forward and take a few steps coming to the front. We're gonna be finishing here in our forward bend. So as you're in forward bend, I want you to bend your knees, release your ribs to your thighs, relax your head and neck. And if it feels good, you can bring your hands to the base of your skull. Just gently pull on the head and take some moments to breathe into your cervical and thoracic spine. Imagine that with every breath, you're adding a little bit of space between the vertebrae, like you're inflating your discs. And then release the hands. Bend the knees a little bit deeper and begin to roll up to stand. Take your time coming up. The head will be last to come up. Keep the knees a little bit soft, so I'm not locking them all the way back. Keep them soft. Come up onto your tippy toes and reach the arms up. Now, as there's this added challenge of balancing on your toes, really engage your side body. Feel the support of the back body to reach the arms. and release. Rolling your head down, rolling the spine, vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way down. And then pressing into the floor, coming all the way back up. Really feeling the connection of all the parts that allow you to balance throughout this, coming up onto your tippy toes, reaching up. Arms are slightly more in the front, reaching through the sides. And then releasing. Good. Now from here, in a standing position now, let's feel the length of the side reaching through the arms. So I'm going to start just a nice wide stance here. We don't have to have our feet together. So I'm going to start with my, let's do the right arm first. So I'm going to reach the right arm out and then up and over. I'm really reaching from the ground all the way through my arm. My arm is slightly in front of me. So there's a little bit more of a kind of a ducking in this way. And actually, let's just do that. We're going to reach, and then we're going to turn towards the floor, and then come back to neutral. The same we did on the floor. So once again, I'm going to, left arm, I'm going to reach out, and then up, and over. Once again, I'm feeling the whole side engaged. The arm is slightly to the front. And turning towards the floor and come back. Good. Let's do a couple more times, but a little faster. I'm going to reach out, up, and exhale over. And out, up, and over. One more time on each side. Reach out, up, and over. And reach out, up, and over. Good. So that was prep for what we're going to do next. So we're going to bring in a little bit of a balance challenge here. So tree pose. You're going to balance first on your left foot. So as always, what I encourage is for you to kind of bounce into it and find your settle into your axis on one side. I'm keeping my left knee quite soft here. So at any point that I start to lose balance, my knee can accommodate and support me. From here, the right foot can come to your ankle like this, maybe even with your toes on the ground. It can come to your shin, or it can go all the way on the inner thigh. I prefer that you don't put it on your knee joint, because that's kind of an unstable position. So either above or below the knee. So first we find this position here, we find balance. Your thigh is pressing into the foot is pressing into the thigh, and the energy from that is traveling up your spine, being supported by the core. Now, from here, let's first just practice reaching the arms out and all the way up. Good. So from here, very important, this is where all these muscles need to fire correctly, otherwise we're going to lose balance. Good. Now, very challenging here. See if you can close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes. You might start shaking. You can see me shaking. If you come out of it, that's okay. And then open the eyes. Good. A nice little shot to your nervous system there. And release. Let's do it on the other side before we do the side bend. So once again, I'm going to find my balance on my right leg. It also helps to have your foot slightly turned out. I notice it allows me to balance better. So I find my stability. Pick your variation. So toes on the ground, heel on your ankle, foot on the shin, or all the way up. Wherever you are, find your position here. Nice alignment, long in your spine, feeling the energy, and then reaching the arms up from the back, all the way up towards the ceiling, reaching up. Breathe here. Settling into this pose. Keep the knee soft, the standing leg. And then see if you can close your eyes for a moment. It's okay if you come out of it, even I might come out of it. Good. And then open the eyes and release. Good. All right, one more time, this time with a nice side bend. So from here, I'm on my left. I'm coming into my variation of my tree pose. I'm keeping the left knee soft. And then from here, I'm gonna reach the left arm up, out first. So feeling that length, that intention of lengthening, and then over. Take your time getting there. Ooh, it's a little bit tricky here. I really have to watch that conversation between my standing leg and the muscles of my side body and how they're helping me. Good. And then coming up and release. So when we're doing those side stretches, it's not just about the stretching and releasing, right? We're stretching, but we're also keeping tone, which is one of the best ways to strengthen your tissues, muscles, and connective tissue. It's not just constantly doing contraction. It's when you're stretching and you're having to hold tone, that's when you're really building a lot of strength. So once again, on the other side, I'm going to bring my foot to the appropriate level here. Find your balance. So settle in first, take a little bit of time, and then I'm going to reach my right arm out first, feeling the engagement from the center of my back, and then up and over, looking for that nice synergy between my lower body and my upper body. Feel the connection here, side body containing you. Breathe for 3, 2, and 1. And coming up and release. Good. Shake it out. Very nice. Good. One more thing we're going to do before we cool down. I want you to take a nice wide stance. We're going to go into a triangle pose. So if you have tight hamstrings, you might want a block or a chair available or something to put your hand on, or you can adjust. It's totally fine. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to turn my right toes forward. My left toes are going to turn in a little bit. So I'm not quite facing the front with my hips. I am slightly more to the side, but really if I were to think about where I'm facing, it's kind of in a diagonal, kind of this way. Now from here, I'm going to hinge at my hips. I'm really looking to suck in the femur bone into the socket. Sometimes you'll hear that description. Keep your front knee soft. Again, don't lock it, especially for those of you like me who tend to hyperextend the knees. And so from here, I'm going to reach with my right arm. I'm going to reach to lengthen through my right side as much as possible. If you have the flexibility, that left hand can come to the front of your thigh and kind of pull the thigh back as you're reaching forward. Breathe here. And then release the hand to your shin or a block or a chair. So if you're on a chair, you might be somewhere here, and that's totally fine. You can also bend that front knee a little bit if the hamstrings are really tight. Now, from here, we're going to reach that left arm up. Once again, it's a little bit in front of me. It's not quite straight to the ceiling. And then I'm going to reach it over. And here, I'm going to look for that nice lengthening stretch. Same kind of idea that we've been doing in all of the other stretching exercises. I'm looking for that length through the side and through the shoulder. Good. And then circling all the way around, reaching up As if somebody's gonna pull you by your arm, come up and turn your toes in. Let's take a moment here, hands to the hips. I'm gonna come forward into a forward bend. You can bring your hands to the floor. If you'd like another shoulder stretch here, you can reach behind you, interlace the fingers, and let the arms drop behind you. And release your bind. Coming into flat back here, knees a little bit bent, hands to the hips and come up. So we got one more side here. I'm going to turn my left toes to face behind me. I'm going to turn my right toes in. I'm going to hinge at the hip crease. Turn a little bit closer this way. So I'm going to hinge at the hips, reaching that femur bone into the socket. Then from here, I'm looking to lengthen from my left side, really reaching out of that left side hip. Good. Breathe here. And exhale, release the hand to your shin or block or the floor if you want to go all the way to the floor. And then I'm going to reach my right arm up and over. And I'm looking for that nice side stretch. Breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Allow yourself to face towards the floor. Let the arms circle all the way around. Come back up and then pull yourself up. And then turn the toes in. One more time. We're going to come forward. Hands to the floor. Good. Now from here, with your hands on the floor, see if you can hop your feet together. So if you can step them as well. But if you can, bend the knees and just hop your feet together here. Now, from here, I'm going to turn our toes out. Heels are towards each other. Now again, you might need a block for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing my knees out and begin to sit between my feet. Your heels might come up off the ground, totally fine. So we're kind of looking to stretch some of these muscles here. You can also play with the distance of your feet. Sometimes a little bit more apart can feel better. And you can go side to side and just stretch some of those inner thigh muscles. You can pause here in the center. You can bring your elbows into your thighs and press out. Might feel nice. And then with your hands on the floor, just allow yourself to come back to sit. Let's have the feet together, knees apart, and a little bit further away so the feet are not quite as close to your pelvis. Let me show it from this angle. So a little bit more to the front. And then from here, I'm just going to allow myself to gently release forward. I'm not looking to go very low. I'm just looking to actually relax my back body. So you let yourself find the appropriate angle. Just breathing into the back. And then rolling back up. Let's do knees together. Rolling all the way back onto the floor. Have your knees bent, feet hips width apart. Let the arms come out to the side. Gently let the knees drop to your right and then up and to the left. So I'm just letting myself find a natural rhythm where I am going side to side very gently. Breathing into that rotation. And then after a couple Let's go ahead and we'll pause on the right. So the knees to the right, turn your head to the left. Breathing into that left side body, nice lengthening, relaxing breath here. And come back to center, other side, knees drop to the left. You turn your head to the right, breathing into the right side body. And come back to center. Now from here, let's finish with a nice hamstring stretch. So keep your left knee bent with the foot on the floor. Bring the right knee into the chest, hug it in, and then reach for your ankle or foot and see if you can stretch that leg. Now I invite you to do it slowly, depending on your flexibility. You can bend and straighten a few times. And then find the appropriate stretch for you. You want to be kind of maybe a 60% of the intensity. So not too intense, something you can hold for a little while, more or less comfortably. So once you find the length in that right leg, it's your choice. You can bring that left leg to extend if you'd like. And let's breathe here into the belly for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, and we'll switch sides. So the right knee comes to the, right foot comes to the floor, right knee bent. You hug the left knee in, and then you find a stretch on your left. This is the part of the practice that my cat likes the most, I think. So you might feel differently on this side. I often say we have 2 bodies, a right body and a left body. So don't expect things to feel the same on this side. So find the appropriate level here. And then if you'd like, stretch that right leg to straight, and 5 deep breaths. My cat is eating my hair. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. Good. Let's take a nice long stretch through the body. Kind of a big X shape. Arms like at the top of an X and legs is the bottom of the X. Let's do a couple of breaths where I invite you to vocalize the exhale and just release all of the extra tension you might still have in the body. So breathe in. And again. Good. Let's take just a minute to cool down and unwind, integrating the work that we've done. Breathing into your belly. on your next inhalation, gently gather your arms and cross them in front of you like you're reaching your hand for the opposite shoulder blade, giving yourself a hug. And as you just rest your arms in this shape, send your breath between the shoulder blades into the back body. Sometimes I imagine the rib cage being in the shape of an egg. And so I feel that I'm sending the breath to the back of the egg. And after your next breath, gently uncross and cross the arms the other way. So another couple of moments here, breathing into the back of the egg, to the back of your ribs. Creating more space. And then unwind the arms. Take a nice long yawning stretch through the body, through the legs, fingers and toes wiggling, rotating through your wrists and ankles. And then bending the knees, turn to your side, rest your head on your arm for a moment. Pressing into your hand that's on the floor. Try not to use any effort from the rest of the body, just the arm pressing up. Coming up to sit. You can sit with your legs crossed, or you can sit on your knees, whatever is comfortable. Take a moment to settle and feel your shoulders. And when I say shoulders, I really mean this whole upper body, ribs included, thoracic spine, neck, your backbone. And to finish, I invite you to take a virtual hug. So reaching through the arms, utilizing all of that juicy movement we've explored today. Imagining your arms embracing the people around you in the world and around you in this class, this virtual class. And we'll do 3 ohms if you'd like to join me, with the intention of supporting each other through this time and staying connected through the ethers. Inhale. And I thank you so much for being with me here today. I appreciate your presence. I hope that this class was rejuvenating and exciting for you. I hope to see you again next week. Please let me know if you have any questions.